And you're welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. iBrand Daybreak. We are close to drawing the curtain, but we won't do that until we've brought you the last segment. Of course, we have the love doctor in the house, Dr. Obi Esiobu, and we'll be looking at how self-esteem impacts relationships and marriages. Hi, Obi. Good morning.
Hi, Uche. How are you?
It's nice to see you again.
Same here.
All right, self-esteem and how it affects relationships and marriages. Please give us the information.
Okay, so this is a very, very important conversation that we're having, and I hope that our viewers would glean a lot from this in the time that we have. So, as we know, or as we have heard, self-esteem has a very, very great impact on our relationships and marriages, more than many people care to admit. But before we go on, I don't want to assume that everybody understands what we mean by self-esteem. So self-esteem, simply put, is in a layman's definition, is how you see yourself, or in other words, how good you feel about yourself. If it's good, then we can say the self-esteem is positive. If it's bad, we can say it's negative. But whether it's good or bad, it has a great impact on the relationship. Before I dive in also, I just want to, for the benefit of our viewers, there are about 7 factors that influences everybody's self-esteem. So every human being you see, tall, short, rich, poor, black, fair, Nigerian, Japanese, everybody has about 7 factors that influences their self-esteem. And I'll just run through them very quickly. The first one is the genetics, and I'm sure people might be surprised. Some people,
I am.
some people, just by their genetic makeup, are already predisposed to not feeling too good about themselves, and that can, in extreme cases, that can lead to depression and those kind of things. So you have genetics, you have personality, of course you have life experiences, you have age, you have health, you have social circumstances, and then you have how people react. I don't know if I've mentioned 7, but yeah, so that's, yeah, so all of these things, they combine to, they play out in relationships. So now let's get into it very quickly. So if somebody has had very bitter, negative life experiences, and then they're in a relationship, it's going to tell. So I'm sure we've all heard people say some people's self-esteem has been battered to the point where they settle for less. They endure a lot of abuse. And when you try to talk to them and say, why are you putting up with this? They say, he loves me, or she loves me. Or some people will even say, there's nobody out there, since we're talking love, marriage, some people will even say, there's nobody out there that will
love me,
talk to me, and all that. And they put up with a lot of abuse, and you're wondering that did this person use jazz on you or something? Can't you see at what point, how much pain do you have to endure to at least leave that environment, and then we can be having the conversation? Because in subsequent in earlier conversations, we try to make the distinction between separation and divorce. That's for a married couple, and we said that divorce is what many people are calling divorce in Nigeria today is actually separation. Yeah, but sometimes, especially when there's life-threatening, when there are life-threatening issues, you have to separate. But some people just can't see that possibility because the self-esteem is so bruised, is so battered. So definitely it has a huge impact. Of course, another impact is insecurity. Some people are just they suspect everything. So one of the ways this would play out in marriages is or relationships is when you always want to check your partner's phone and all that. It can be a sign of low self-esteem. And I'm sorry to say I don't mean to create any gender war, but I think that women are usually guilty of this. A woman can be so insecure. Some women just, if they feel that you are talking to another lady that is maybe finer than them physically, trouble is about to start. All of those things can actually be a sign of low self-esteem. So we've been talking about the negative bit. If you flip it to the positive side, when the self-esteem is positive and good, of course, it has a very good impact on the relationship. One of the impact you would notice is that in a positive relationship, people's potentials come alive. So everybody is seeing themselves as bringing something to the table. When the self-esteem is negative, it's almost like a parasitic relationship. Somebody is just feeding off the other person till you choke and just bleed off. Sometimes literally, emotionally, some people don't have anything to give. And I think that people should be very, very careful and be aware of some of these things. There are people that can choke you emotionally because all their lives they've lived off other people. I mean emotionally, not even financially. They are so bruised, they are so battered, they don't see anything good about themselves. Remember we said one of the factors is life experiences. Life has pushed a lot of people to many funny places, and these things are real. And I hope that people, if you're watching us and you are not yet married, I think you have a very fantastic opportunity, or you are not in a relationship, don't be in a hurry. Sometimes your choice of men or women or boys and girls is a sign. It's a direct indicator. At least for somebody like me, I'll be able to see through that in less than 5 minutes. It's a direct indicator of how low your self-esteem is or how high your self-esteem is. Before I let you speak, because I know I believe you have some questions. Some people, do you know, and for any of you, do you know, I'm sure you know at least one person that is always falling in love with certain type of people, character-wise, certain type of people. I know ladies that are always falling in love with men, maybe men that are just looking to exploit them in every way possible. The breakup happens, they cry, you think they will learn their lesson, sometimes in less than a year, you hear they're in another relationship. And you don't need to be a prophet to know that that same thing is that cycle is just going to keep repeating. And at the root of it many times is a very, very, very low self-esteem. If you look at our nation today, it is set up to make people feel very bad about themselves. We have a social construct in Nigeria where if you don't have a car, if you don't have a house, if you don't even have some money in your account, you are not really doing well. Even if people don't say it to your face, that's the general perception. That's why people would do anything to hammer or blow in court. At the root of it is all low self-esteem. There are ladies that will not even look at you if you don't have a car. Or some will say, where do you live? And God help you, you mention one nonsense place. So everybody wants to go to the island. Even people living near Ekpe will tell you that they are living on the island. But I'm sorry, by the time you are nearing Ekpe, it's no more island. But this is just on a lighter note. For me, anything that has passed Jakonde is no more island. Have you tried going to Ekpe before?
It's a journey.
You might do like 5 hours on a bad day. But everybody is just trying to form, or the one that I have never really understood, a fake accent.
For the want of time,
yes,
because we barely have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So by the moment we mention self-esteem,
yes,
it becomes a psychological conversation entirely, because whatever has happened to you messed with your psyche, and that has led to the point where the person as an individual is and how they see themselves. So if because you did mention that for someone like me, as in you would see through that in minutes. Everybody does not have your kind of eyes. So how will somebody begin to look? What are the things to look out for in your potential partner, your potential boyfriend or girlfriend, to say, okay, oh, this one is red flag, the other one is green flag?
Yeah, so I already tried to touch on some of them, but let's get down to specifics. When you notice that people are not straightforward, some people just they're never straightforward. They tell you, for example, you notice that this guy tells you he's maybe, let's say, he's working with Dangote, and then you get there. If you're a smart lady, you should be able to investigate, because anybody can say anything. You get there, you do your homework. It's not working with Dangote. When you begin to notice little lies here and there, you are most likely dealing with a self-esteem issue. Anybody that cannot be real with you, anybody that cannot be open with you. Now I understand the place of information management. There are things you don't say. You don't say everything, maybe when you're just getting to know somebody, so that you don't scare the person away. But if you're a real person, at some point, that conversation will come up. But to make it plain, when people are not straightforward, it can be a sign of a low self-esteem. When people are straightforward, it's a sign that their self-esteem is good, it's healthy, and that's the kind of person you should be in a relationship with. Ultimately, that will lead that will lead to marriage.
All right, now let me butt in quickly because we're pressed for time. It's very difficult sometimes to advise someone who is in love, regardless of the gender.
Yes.
Especially when you are so much involved emotionally with an individual. And let me use, I'm not trying to offend any gender right here, but let me use a woman, because I've seen cases where women invest in some certain men that they meet just because, excuse me, they see potential in this guy, and this guy somewhat is dealing with, low self-esteem, not trying to look so cheap, at the same time not trying to look so expensive, but then he's just trying to, put himself in a balance. And this young lady knows that, as they will say, no level, right? But this guy is just trying to make sure that at every step of the way, he's trying to make this guy know that, no, I get up to that level, I get up to that level, and giving you some level of smart lies or white lie, as they say. How would such a lady sit this young man down and help him come out of that situation so that he becomes more real and more at home when with the lady?
Very simple. It's as simple as sitting down and having a heart-to-heart conversation. If the lady sees the guy as someone that can be in her future, because women are very, very smart. They calculate. I think that in less than, I think a woman knows who she wants to be with even before the guy approaches. So they've done the scanning, they've done everything. So if you see that this person is someone that you think you want to be in your future, you have a mature conversation. Already like you or love you, as the case may be. You don't need all of this extra things that you're doing. You're more than this. Pump him, build his, massage his ego a bit. This is on the assumption that there are a lot of other good things about the guy. So it's not a case of throwing away the baby with the bathwater. But the conversation always helps. But the challenge many times is people today, I'm sorry, it's just sex in many places. And it always backfires.
All right. Dr. Obi, sorry, our time is up. So we'll probably have to move on to another segment. But I'm going to hold on to that thought because actually we have to go. But you see that area of massaging ego, and I'm not even hanging it on the guys, even the ladies, like massaging your partner's ego, male or female. A lot of times it backfires for whoever is doing the massaging. But that is conversation we are going to have eventually. Thank you so much, Dr. Obi, for coming by the studio today. We really appreciate your time. But this is where we draw the curtain on today's edition. I don't know why Josh is looking at me like that and he's smiling.
I just wanted you to spill the beans in just a second.
I should.
Please.
Okay, so we say things like massage this person's ego, and people take advantage of that, especially for someone who have not come to a point of understanding the place of living a balance or coming to a common ground in a relationship. So I'm the person always massaging his ego, or he's the person always massaging my ego, and I start to take advantage of that. Because why? I lack the understanding that because he's massaging my ego doesn't make him less than me or less a human, or because I'm the person always saying I'm sorry, apologizing, and doing all these nice things for my husband or my boyfriend doesn't mean I'm less a person or I am a fool. But there is a place of understanding where if I want this thing to be, then I need to make it work. And a lot of times for those people who were massaging their egos and they don't have this understanding, it's also a place of their psychology, a place of their I'm teaching the love doctor now. But this is where we draw the curtain on today's edition eventually the specialist, Dr. Obi, will get to have this conversation with us. I'm sure he understands what I was trying to say. All right. Thank you so much for being a part of iBrand Daybreak today. We will be back, but it will be tomorrow, the TGIF edition, and Josh will not be here in time. Until then, stay positive, be a good Nigerian. Find a way to stimulate your own personal economy because you don't read. My name is Uche Zoe.
And my name is Joshua Carter. Can you lobby me to be on your show on Friday? Anyway, let's think about it.
Have a great day. Enjoy yourself.